Prime Minister Marcelina extends condolences following devastating earthquake in Colombia. FYI Foundation's Sawaligan Giants celebrate the power of Caribbean cultural exchange. SXM Daily News bringing Anguilla Juver 2026 was absolute madness. Video courtesy of I Am Stefan. Local businessmen Imran Maqsood Amjad and Michael Ferrier donating 100 chairs to the organization. From the island of St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for August 11th, 2026. Prime Minister Dr. Luc Marcelina has extended heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Colombia following the devastating earthquake that struck the country on Monday, August 10th, resulting in loss of life, injuries, and widespread destruction. The Prime Minister also offered reassurance to families in St. Martin following confirmation from Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labour, Claret Connor, that all St. Martin patients currently receiving medical treatment in Colombia have been accounted for and are safe. The first concern of many families in St. Martin was simple: are our loved ones safe? I am deeply relieved that based on the confirmations received through SCV and the respective medical institutions, all of our patients have been located and are safe, Prime Minister Marcelina stated. The Prime Minister commended Minister Connor, SCV, and the medical institutions in Colombia for acting swiftly to verify the well-being of the patients and provide much-needed reassurance to their families. At the same time, our relief here at home does not lessen the immense tragedy unfolding in Colombia. Families have lost loved ones, communities have been disrupted, and emergency workers continue their difficult work under extremely challenging circumstances. On behalf of the government and people of St. Martin, I extend our deepest sympathies to every family mourning a loss and wish strength and a full recovery to those who have been injured, the Prime Minister said. Prime Minister Marcelina emphasized the close human connection between St. Martin and Colombia, noting that Colombia is not only an important regional partner, but also the homeland of many members of the St. Martin community and a country where residents regularly travel for medical care, family visits, business, and vacation. This disaster is not distant from us. Colombia is home to people whom our residents love, a country that provides care to our patients and the homeland of an important part of our community. To our Colombian brothers and sisters in St. Martin, who are anxiously awaiting news from relatives and friends, please know that your concern and sorrow are shared by the people of St. Martin, Prime Minister Marcelina stated. The government of St. Martin will continue to monitor developments and remain in contact with the relevant authorities and agencies concerning the welfare of St. Martin patients and residents who may be in Colombia. I encourage everyone with loved ones in the affected areas to remain connected through reliable channels and to follow the guidance of the Colombian authorities. In moments of disaster, compassion must be accompanied by responsibility, cooperation, and accurate information, the Prime Minister concluded. When culture travels, it creates connections far beyond the shores from which it came. The Funtopia Youth Initiative Foundation, FYIF, recently took its Sawaligan Giants, Moco Jumbies, across the channel to Anguilla, where they participated in the Anguilla Summer Festival Road Parade in collaboration with Players Troupe and Calypso Charters. For FYIF, the journey represented something much greater than another performance. It was an opportunity for young cultural performers from St. Martin to experience firsthand the power of Caribbean collaboration, cultural exchange, and the growing regional creative industry. Sawaliga beyond our shores. The Sawaligan Giants were created to ensure that young people are not simply taught traditional cultural practices, but are given opportunities to live them, perform them, and carry them into new spaces. Taking the Moko Jumbies to Anguilla allowed another Caribbean audience to experience a piece of Soa Liga while allowing the performers to stand alongside fellow Caribbean creatives and become part of something larger than themselves. The project itself became a true Caribbean collaboration. The Sualigan Giants represented St. Martin, joined an established carnival presentation in Anguilla, and appeared in specially created Moko Jumbi costumes produced by creators in Trinidad and Tobago. The connection was further strengthened through Eldon Gums of legendary Mokos, based in Florida, who played an important role in orchestrating the link-up between the cultural partners. Different islands, different creatives, one Caribbean story. The power of collaboration. The weekend became even more meaningful when Players Troup's Guardians of Paradise presentation went on to capture Band of the Year 2026, Most Colorful Troupe, King of the Band, and Queen of the Band. FYIF celebrates those achievements not as its own, but as an example of what can emerge when Caribbean creatives open their doors to collaboration and allow talent, ideas, and traditions to move freely throughout the region. For the foundation, that is where the real victory lies. It demonstrates that St. Martin's cultural performers do not have to exist only within the boundaries of St. Martin. Our dancers, drummers, Moko Jumbies, costume makers, musicians, and other creatives can contribute to productions throughout the Caribbean while simultaneously learning from the traditions and creative industries of our neighbors. The Phillipsburg Mutual Improvement Association, PMIA, has received a significant contribution to enhance its capacity to host community activities, with local businessmen Imran Maqsood Amjad and Michael Ferrier donating 100 chairs to the organization. The donation will provide much-needed seating at the PMIA's establishment on Back Street, particularly during events and other community gatherings hosted by the organization. Accepting the donation on behalf of the PMIA, President Glendoline Holliday expressed sincere appreciation to Mr. Maqsood and Mr. Ferrier for their generosity and support. She emphasized the value of contributions such as these in helping the organization continue its work and provide a suitable environment for the various activities it organizes throughout the year. In remarks during the presentation, Mr. Maqsood underscored the important role played by the PMIA in the community, particularly through its annual educational events. He highlighted the organization's efforts to educate and engage the public on critical areas of development and issues affecting the broader community.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Darren Versatile Hodge interview on Now You Know with Valerie Van Putten. Just need to ask. Accept what was, acknowledge what is, and act on what can be. What can be is that we can have a child that has no clue what it is to be without a father, or what is another version of you that knows. It doesn't know what it is to have a father around, and doesn't know how to depend, and has to figure it out on its own, as before.
Men in general just need to accept what was, acknowledge what is, and act on what can be.
Exactly.
What can be is that you can have a child that has no clue what it is to be without a father, or what can be is another version of you that doesn't know what it is to have a father around, that doesn't know how to depend and now has to figure it out on his own and
Right.
so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk to the men out there about stepfathers, because a lot of them use that excuse. Oh, she has another man, and either she doesn't want me around, or I don't want to be around them, but you're not going around them. You're going around the child. You need to go and pick up that child.
I mean, again, to each his own in a sense of poor way of thinking. The man is not with me. If she move on and she has a man, that's not I'm not with the man. The man is with her. The man is not with my child. The man is with her. If they go and they form in a family and she might have another child for that man, or my child now lives in the household with her and the man. As a grown up, as a responsible grown up, it would be only logical for me to, hey, I would love to meet this man. Hey, nice to meet you. Da 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 da. As the person who's living in the house with my son, first and foremost, I will set the standard that my son has to respect you off the bat.
There you go.
Now,
Yes.
if you show signs of being an irresponsible person or dysfunctional in any way, then we shall take those steps to, acknowledge that or deal with that
Medicate,
when that
yeah.
time comes. But let's just say off the bat, my child's mother move on. Hey, okay, so and so, nice to meet you. Hey, if anything you need or anything happens with my son, please let me know, because then that's also an additional person you can fall back on. In case I can't make it to pick him up, hey, but I can't make it to pick up my son. Will you be? You mind swinging over, picking him? Yo, I got you, bro. Because it's not unless I think the problem happens if you still feel a type of way about that woman that you left, then you would feel a way because there's the next man in the picture.
Yeah.
I think if you moved on, you truly moved on, your only thing in common is the child, then hey, and I always told my son that, I say, yo, if your mom, moves on or whatever happens and she decides to move in with somebody, don't look at it as that man is replacing me. He's not replacing me. I'm showing up every day. That's an additional person that you can fall back on, an additional person.
Or you
that
should be able to fall back on.
They should be able to fall back. And again, it's not his responsibility.
True.
But if
But
it
she came
is-
with a package.
yeah, and
So-
if that man is like for me, I've been with individuals in the past that they had a child, and for me, I never looked at it like, oh, that's not my child. No, obviously I know that's not my child, but if we living together, then I'll take care. I'll pick up the slack where I can. And for me, it's just that simple, and then vice versa also for women that men move on, and because it goes both ways. You'll have women that, I don't want my child around that woman. But that's when
Yes.
you are still emotionally attached to that man in some type of way. Whether yes, it's far beyond repair, but you still don't want a man maybe to move on and be happy because it's not with you. So again, that's more of an internal thing. A lot of people need to do a lot of self work. Facts.
When we talk about children given too much time and the parents aren't around or the father isn't around, it's a good time for them to get involved with gangs. And that's one of the worst things I think that can happen, because they will not learn it at home, but they learn it on the street. And there's not any way to learn anything. Talk to us about that.
Well, there's many ways to look at it. Unfortunately, it all depends on the environment that you are growing up in. Some neighborhoods are more in a more deplorable state than others, and it's easy access to find the block. The block ain't far, And a
Yeah.
lot of times you'll
Yeah.
find that a lot of us who go to the block, because I was there too, a lot of us who end up on the block, we have a lot of things in common. We have that broken home is one of the major things that we have in common. So because we don't have that male figure or adult to answer to, we find that commonplace. I know that my mom, for example, she wasn't the strictest. And I think she wasn't the strictest because of the situation at home already.
Right.
So for her, it was maybe like, you know what? I can't control certain things. So let me just leave him go and find peace somewhere out there, but not knowing what I was finding out there, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of ways to look at it. But yes, it is unfortunate. A lot of things start from home. And wandering eyes, wandering feet, you know, will lead you outside. And then the thing is, when you go to certain neighborhoods on a certain block, you know, we used to break bread. We used to, you know, one Chinese food split up 4 ways. So we actually shared. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's all bad. Yes, we get into bad things, but you know, there's a lot you learn more than just. But if it's a lot that starts at home. If the mother isn't at home because she's working 2 jobs, the father ain't showing up at all, then we end up there. And of course, that leads us to a whole different path, and we go down that road. And you know, whether we end up, you know, committing different crimes of different natures because we're in that environment, that is, by that time we are kind of lost, most people. I mean, you can find rescue at a certain point. It's never too late. As for me, as believe, it's never too late as long as you have life. But it does start, yes, from home a lot.
The Honourable Minister of Finance, Marinka J. Gums, recently delivered a farewell speech in honour of Mr. Paul Van Vliet, marking his retirement after 38 years of dedicated service to the profession and business community of Sint Maarten. The occasion was especially meaningful for Minister Gums, who spent 16 years at PricewaterhouseCoopers, now Grant Thornton, before entering public service. The accompanying photograph, featuring Minister Gums with Mr. Van Vliet and Mr. Herbert Beldman, captures a significant chapter of her professional journey. When Mr. Beldman asked her to deliver the farewell speech for Paul, she immediately agreed. "I knew I could never tell Herbert no," Minister Gums said. She reflected on the important role those years played in shaping the professional she is today. "This is where the foundation was laid and the pillars were planted for the position I hold today." Minister Gums expressed gratitude to the many professionals who invested in her throughout her 16 years at the firm, including Cease Rocks, Cheyenne, Virginia, the late Victoria Valleys, Herbert Beldman, and Paul Van Vliet. Their guidance helped shape her technical knowledge, discipline, integrity, critical thinking, and professional standards. She also recalled the very beginning of her journey to PwC and the late Roy Marlin, whom her mother approached to put in a good word for her when she was invited for a second interview. "I wanted that opportunity because of Marinka Gums, not because someone had recommended me," she recalled. With the benefit of experience, she came to understand an important lesson. A recommendation may open a door, but it is your character, competence, and work ethic that determine whether you remain in the room. Reflecting on Paul Van Vliet's 38 years of service, Minister Gums described him as a cornerstone of the profession and a mentor whose standards and commitment to excellence influenced generations of professionals. "Paul, you were one of my mentors, whether you realized it or not. The standards you upheld continue to guide me in public service today." For Minister Gums, the farewell was ultimately a moment of gratitude and reflection. "The foundation was laid here, the pillars were planted here, and I remain deeply grateful to everyone who contributed to that journey." Minister Gums congratulated Mr. Van Vliet on his retirement and wished him health, happiness, peace, and continued blessings in the next chapter of his life.
Now the local weather forecast. Tonight, variably cloudy and hazy with scattered showers. Wednesday morning through evening, hot and slightly hazy with isolated showers. Surface winds, tonight through Wednesday evening, east to southeast with a light to moderate breeze at 7 to 15 mm, Higher gusts are possible. Tonight, variably cloudy and hazy with scattered showers. Wednesday morning through evening, hot and slightly hazy with isolated showers. Sea conditions, sheltered areas open. Waters state, soothe slight waves, swells. Below 2F2, forced outlook through Thursday evening. Hot, humid, and hazy with brisk showers. And now the 3-day weather forecast.
Savvy, your social and health insurance is Savvy, your social and health insurance is.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Savvy, yeah, your social and health insurance is.
SXM Daily News, bringing Anguilla Jouvert 2026 was absolute madness. Video courtesy of I Am Stefan. This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.